We're gonna give people a few minutes to get to join us here. See if we have more people coming.
So is this meeting for people that are wanting to volunteer?
Yep, we can answer some questions about that too. We're introducing a new volunteer management system that we're implementing.
Okay.
So, but also we're very happy to answer questions about volunteering too. Sure.
Just curious. Thanks.
Informational meeting, whatever you need.
Wonderful.
So there's just a couple of us on here, and that's what we experienced the last time. I think we're gonna start and we'll just kind of walk through. First, I'll just kind of tell you what we're here for. Welcome. And then we'll kind of walk through the volunteer management. This is a very informal Zoom call. So if you have a question at any time, just interrupt and ask the question. There's no wrong question. It's okay to interrupt at any time. Don't let me just ramble on and then, forget what you're gonna ask. And it can be about just general volunteering too. So the reason that we're here and we're doing this is because we're in the process of implementing a new volunteer management system. So it's some software, it's a cloud-based software that we're going to start using. And basically what it's going to do is allow our volunteers to see all of the opportunities that we have available and sign up for them on their own, get really good information, get some trainings, just kind of get a little bit more familiar with the reserve, see what we've got going on, just a better way to communicate with our volunteers, and also a better way for us to acknowledge and appreciate what they're doing. We have the opportunity to keep track of volunteer hours, which helps us leverage money for grants, things like that, some in-kind money. So this is just a really good way for us to kind of streamline the volunteer force that we have, because it is very, very important to what we do here, from committee level, committee meetings, to all the way to putting in signs or working on trails. We really depend on volunteers a lot. We don't need you guys to introduce yourselves, but I'm Jackie. I work here at the KVR, and I organize events and also work out on the trails and on the property.
And my name is Erica, and I also work at the Kickapoo Valley Reserve. I am the administrative assistant, so I'm usually in the office doing a lot of the behind the scenes sort of stuff. But we're really excited to be able to offer this, and I think you guys are going to like it too.
Yeah, and if there's at any time there's questions about this volunteering system, anything about volunteering, we're probably the people to reach out to, and any staffer at the reserve here is going to be able to find the answers for you. So there's not going to be, you can reach out to anyone here and they're going to direct you in the right direction. So we do these trainings with staff too. We're probably going to have the most answers, but everybody else is going to be able to find them. So there's nobody you shouldn't ask a question to. All right, so we are going to share our screen and we're going to start walking you through. You decided you're going to volunteer at the KVR, and so here we are. How do we do that? The first thing you should do is go to our website. Our website is just a plethora of information, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming because it's so much information. But even with this volunteer program, we're going to try to streamline that information for people so that it's a little bit more in one place and really kind of a little bit more defined on what you might be doing too, or what you might be interested in. A little less to sort through, so to say. So when you are getting ready to volunteer at the KVR, we want you to go to our website, and this is our homepage. In the top right, you'll see donate or volunteer. You're gonna go ahead and click on volunteer, and it's gonna take you to our volunteer page. And this is where you can obviously look around and look at a few things. But for today, we're going to go kind of right into our volunteer management, the cloud-based software that we're using. So you would, from this page, you would click on you're new, so you're gonna sign up to volunteer at the Kickapoo Valley Reserve. And that takes you to our volunteer management page. And this is what's new for us that we're just newly implementing. And we are recording this training. So, and we probably will do a little transcript of step 1, step 2, step 3 also. So we're recording this training, and we're gonna go ahead and post this on our website when we're all done too, so people can refer back to it. And anyone that maybe wasn't able to attend the training can also jump on and just watch it quick to see how it all works. So from this page, there's a few things that can happen. If you're really ready to go and you don't have any questions and you're just ready to fill out an application, at the top right, I would like to volunteer. You can go right in and fill out an application, but maybe you want to learn a little bit more. So you can do that. If you roll down through, you can see what's next. You have some choices. It gives you a step-by-step instruction on how to fill out your volunteer application, and below that are some of the things that may come up as volunteer opportunities. We always have roadside cleanup. You can volunteer for education programs. You can volunteer with the Friends of the Reserve. We do a lot of volunteering on the trails. We also do, and even on the river, we do a lot of invasive species removal. That's a pretty popular volunteer activity. One of our staffers, Ben, here is always going after the invasive species, and the more the merrier when you're dealing with that. So there's a lot of different things, and if you click on the eye icon right next to those, it will talk a little bit about what that activity actually is. So it's very brief. All of it is very brief. Just a little bit of an explanation, and we can get into more of the explanation as we kind of go through. There's other places to find more information, but this just kind of gets you started. Do I want to deal with invasive species? What is that even about? I don't even know what that is. So you just read a little bit and you learn a little bit more. So that's what's there. And then it talks a little bit about other ways you can volunteer. You can volunteer for committee meetings. We have different committees here at the KVR that helps our management board make decisions. And those committees are open to the public, and you can be on a committee by just requesting. So you don't have to be appointed or anything. You can just be on a committee if you want to be in on the decision-making process here at the KVR. So that's really exciting. So there can be committee meetings. Maybe you can volunteer for events, or also we would have special projects. Those are the kind of the 3 categories that we will have for the volunteer opportunities. And then of course, underneath that are the mission statements of both the reserve and the Friends of the Reserve. So there's 2 groups that kind of drive what we do here: the KVR, Kickapoo Valley Reserve, and then the Friends of the KVR. And then the Get Social, that little line, it's just a fun little tab that we put in there, which highlights our most recent social media posts. And that this happens to be just Facebook. It's really nothing specifically important. If you follow us on Facebook, you will have already seen all of those. But if you don't, that's just kind of a most current of what we're putting out there in the social media world and what we're trying to talk to people about. So, is there any questions about this first little page or what we're even doing here? Good? All right, so here we are. We've decided that we want to volunteer. So we're going to go ahead and fill in an application. And that takes us to the next screen, and it's just a little, this screen is a little bit of housekeeping, just to make sure that you know what your, we want to be completely transparent with everyone. We are going to be collecting your name and your address and your email so that we can communicate with you about volunteering. And we also want you to know that this is going into the cloud. So if you don't want those things to happen, we want you to make sure that you know what you're getting into. So the KVR volunteer policies are there for you to read. The Kickapoo Valley Reserve is an agency of the state of Wisconsin. So we also included the state of Wisconsin privacy policy there for you to read. And then the Better Impact, which is the system that we're using, also has its own privacy policy. So we included all of those to be very transparent to you. You can read through those and decide if you're interested or if you're not. I will tell you that the state of Wisconsin has, through its DET, which is Department of Enterprise Technologies, they have already vetted and this system for privacy. So it's already gone through their entire process of approval, which is why we're using this one, because the state says this is the one we should use. It best protects the state system, and it best protects our volunteers. So that's why we chose this one, and it works pretty well. So those are the two reasons. Is there any questions on this screen? Not yet. Okay. So in this screen right here, since you're new, you would use this portal on the left. I am new to my impact page. So you're going to fill in a username and an email address and verify that email address. And then you have to click I've read the policies, which are the ones that are just above there. And then save and continue. And that will take you to the screen. Basically, it will log you in. It will get you an account. Because we're not going to walk through this and we've already created an account, we're going to flip-flop screens here real quick and take us to what the actual our volunteer page looks like. So you've logged in, you've filled in all your information, you've signed up, all of that's there, and here you are. You're ready to, this is your volunteer portal. You're the only one that gets to see this. You manage it. You decide what you want for shifts. You decide what it looks like. You decide if you want to put a picture on there. You decide what your username is. You decide all of those things. That's my picture there with my adorable grandson. Who knows, maybe he'll volunteer too someday. For right now, he probably is just trouble. So on this screen, this is our home screen for our volunteers. You can see it's familiar. That's a picture of the visitor center at the top. And it's Kickapoo Valley Reserve. You know you're in the right place because there we are. So we're on the home screen. And you can see that it's keeping track of how many hours I volunteered this week, this year, and in my lifetime, which is probably more than that, but just for explanation purposes, that's what we're using. You can also see what my upcoming shifts are. You can see that I'm going to attend a land management committee meeting on Tuesday the 12th, and I'm going to attend the National Trails Day, which is on Saturday the 4th of June. And we'll roll down a little bit just to get you familiar with your homepage. You can also see these badges. So these are things that I will show you in a little bit of, this is who I am. I am on the Education Tourism Committee. I'm a KVR instructor. Also on the Land Management Committee. I'm certified in wildland fire. There's a lot of other little badges that people can get. If you have let's see, what's another one? If you're chainsaw safety, if you're certified in chainsaw safety, which I am, but it's not up there, that would be one. We also have badges for the amount of hours that you volunteered. So if you get to maybe 100 hours, you're going to get a 100-hour badge that will be up on your homepage. Now, these are just for you to see. This doesn't get shared with anybody else. This is your homepage. It's exactly how you design it. And I'll show you how to walk through that in a little bit. And there again, we have the mission statements just to help remind everybody why we do what we do. So the next tab, we're at the home page, and the next one over is opportunities. So you're here, you want to see what we have to offer for volunteer opportunities. So we've created a calendar. And you can see this is taking us into April, which is fine. We don't have any more volunteer opportunities in March, so we'll go through April. And you can see that on the 7th, we have an education and tourism meeting coming up. Again, the committee meetings are open to the public. There's a land management meeting on the 12th, and then the 16th through the 23rd or 24th, we have annual roadside cleanup, which is one of our larger volunteer opportunities. So let's just click on education and tourism. So when we click on that on the calendar, it tells us a little bit about what it is. It tells us the time. It's from 5:30 to 7. And most of the time, those will have a Zoom link with them. So as soon as that Zoom link becomes available, we will upload those links here so that you can really go to this and have all of that information to attend that specific event, whatever it is, right in front of you. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this. So I click sign up, and I've been signed up. So now if I go back to my home page, now I've signed up for the education and tourism meeting. So that is in one of my upcoming shifts. It's really so simple to do that. So along with it being on a calendar, there's also a list. We've created it so if people really don't want to see a calendar, they want to see kind of the whole, what everything is, what the whole list of opportunities is. You can also look at that. So if you look at the list, it lets you go out a little further than just looking at it a month at a time. So you'll see we have a roadside cleanup, we'll have Dam Challenge, an opportunity for volunteers at Dam Challenge, even Winter Festival, National Trails Day. We do have a project of tree planting coming up in May. We have some days that we'll be asking people to come and help us plant about 4,000 trees. So that's definitely a volunteer opportunity. So you can look at the opportunities that we have in two ways. One, you can look at them through a calendar, and two, you can look at them through just the list. And we'll be adding volunteer opportunities all the time. You know, we may do, as we have more invasive species removal opportunities, those will get added on. And you will, and I'll walk you through how to do this in a little bit too, but by some of the things that you click and what you sign up for in your interests, it will automatically generate an email to you when we've added a project or a meeting or something that is of interest to you. So it's going to come right to your inbox and tell you that, hey, you know, KVR just added an invasive species removal day on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. If you're interested, you can sign up here. So it's going to help you get the most out of your volunteering. Is there any questions about the opportunities and how to navigate what we offer? No?
In order to get those notices of upcoming events, is that something that we would have to log back into this page to see, or would you get an email by a preset email that you set earlier?
Yep, so you will get an email when we add. You will go in here and you will set up your profile, and let's say you want to help with garlic mustard. Let's just use that as an example. So you'll go in and we'll show you where this is, and you click invasive species. So when we add an activity or a project like garlic mustard removal, we will click anyone that has interest in invasive species. We'll click that button, and then an email will be generated and sent to you, and you will get a notice of the time, the date, and everything of that activity. So you don't have to log back in to this system to be able to see when that is, if you just want to show up. But you can log back in here and say, yeah, I'm coming. You know, we aren't going to require, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to require an RSVP for volunteer opportunities, but sometimes we might, if we're trying to coordinate transportation or, you know, trying to get people out into backcountry places, we might asked to say, who's actually coming, those kind of things. So you're gonna get that notice of when the time and the date of the opportunity is, even if you never log back into this. Does that make
And
sense?
yeah, it does. And does the notices, or maybe you're getting to this, but does it link to your like work calendar and any calendar, or is it like Gmail specific or something?
You can choose which calendar. Erica, can you go back to try to sign me up for a different thing? Go down to national, oh no, I'm in that. Do the tree planting. Click on, yeah. Click on the, what's that one? Click on that. Yep. So in here, I want to sign up for this. Let's sign me up for the very first one, Erica. Oh, go to the home page. So at the home page, I can add right there, I can add it to my calendar. So you get to choose. You can choose a Google Calendar, you can use Yahoo. If you have a different calendar on your, click that, let's see where it goes. Who knows where it's gonna go? It put it in an open file into an event. It's gonna put it on my Outlook calendar. So I think you can choose the calendar where you want it to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, good. Any other questions on that? All right, schedule, we'll move on to that. So when you log on here and you want to know kind of like, what's my schedule? What am I going to be doing? I can go onto my schedule and it'll list it right straight out of, all right, well, the 7th of April, I'm going to have education tourism, and then the 12th, I'm going to have land management. Looks like on the 11th of May, I'm going to do tree planting, and then in June, I'm going to do National Trails Day. So it kind of lines it right out on what I'm doing. The other thing nice about the schedule right here, and you can decide of how much information, again, you want to share, how much you don't want to share. But if you click on the who button next to one of those, it tells you who else is volunteering if they've chosen to share their information. So I've set my information as anonymous, and I'll show you where to switch that over. But there are some situations where some people might choose to, want to know who's, well, is Erica going to volunteer on that day? I wonder if she is. I'll just see if she is. Maybe we're in the garden club together, and maybe we want to know who else is coming tonight. And if you're comfortable, that's where you're in complete charge of what privacy you have. That's one of the places where it makes it a little interactive with other people. But again, you are in complete control of that, of sharing that information or not. All right, so any questions about the schedule? All right, we're gonna go to hours. So this is where we can see what two things we can do here. One, you can log hours, which we cross our fingers and hope that you will log your hours. If you're volunteering with us, like I talked about in the beginning, this is a way for us to keep track of the amount of volunteer hours that it really actually takes to make this place work, which is way more than we even realize. We know that. So being able to know how many volunteer hours we use to make these things happen would be so instrumental, even in applying for grants. In-kind numbers will help us to have some actual numbers, because I think a lot of times we even kind of underestimate how many actual hours it takes us to do these things. And we certainly can't do it without our volunteers. And it's going to be a way for us to really very much appreciate our volunteers a lot more. We already do, but we know we need to appreciate you more. So being able to log those hours is great. So that is where you can, this first line is where you can log your hours. Come in to say, today I volunteered for, 2 hours. I can put that in there, maybe 2 hours, and then I save that, and it automatically, for the land management, sure. And it automatically saves it. So now I've got 2 hours logged in for land management. And then down below, it just shows what my most recent entries were on my volunteer hours. It just kind of allows you to kind of keep track. And those things will get reported back to us. And most of the time, those in our reports that we are going to be able to access, all those volunteer hours will be anonymous hours. It's not going to say Erica volunteered 6 hours and that's what we're going to do a report on. It's just going to say, you know, one of your volunteers put in 6 hours today. It's not in that report. So when we get ready to share reports, again, we're not sharing your personal information. We're just sharing the hours that you volunteered in the reports. So the next tab is reports, and you can see that that just tracked the hours that I entered for March. So I'm at 3.5 hours. So that's yay, well on my way to a badge. And then the next tab on the top is the contact information. So this is where you can directly get a hold of us. So we have a whole list of people that you can send an email to. So let's say you're part of the Adopt a Trail program and you've adopted a trail and you're going out to, you know, check your section of trail that you have adopted. This is a really quick, easy way to send an email or a message to the Adopt a Trail coordinator to let them know, hey, we've got trees down, we're gonna check mule trail. So maybe the subject in our email is mule trail. And then the message is there's 2 trees down. And even in here, which is really cool, in the browse, you could actually attach a picture if you wanted to. You could choose a file and attach a picture of the trees down. Maybe it's a really big mess and you really need to look at this because it's crazy. And then send the email and off it goes. It goes to the Adopt a Trail coordinator. If you don't know who you want to send it to, it's probably best to send it to either Erica or I as admin. But any one of those things that you send it to, we're gonna know, we're gonna be able to help answer that question or direct it to the right person. And we may add more people and we may take things away. So if you are specific to volunteering to maybe do the Friends Garden, you know, maybe you're gonna send it right to that and that email is gonna go to the Friends Garden coordinator. So we may add more, we may take some away, but that's just a really direct way to talk right to the person that you are volunteering with, if that makes sense. All right, so is there any questions about those top tabs there? So that's how you interact with KVR. That is the information, those top tabs are the information that we're going to put out for you to interact with. You're going to look at opportunities, you're going to look at your schedule, you're going to keep track of your hours, things like that. You're going to contact us in those top tabs. So the next fun part is in my profile. This is where you take care of all things that are you. So this is yours to do, yours to look at. We don't have access to this on our side. This is completely you. So in here, you can set up your username. If you want to be a little more anonymous, maybe your username is, you know, I like frogs or something. Your name and your first name and your last name are not shared outside of that. It's just your username. And they are required just so that we know who those volunteers are, because there are some safety things and volunteer agreements that we need to have on file, but that's not information that we share outside of here. So this is just yours only. So if you roll up, Erica, you can add a photo if you want a photo, you can remove it. Again, that's all your information. You are in complete control of it. And we talked about before about being able to see who's volunteering in a certain project or something. And this is where you control that in the privacy settings. So you can go in there. Right now I had all those unclicked, so I was anonymous in the volunteer portal. So if I click all those, and maybe I only want my last name And maybe I only want my first name. So we'll unclick last name, but I do want my photo in there. So save that. And then just to show you what it did, let's go back to, let's go back to home and go into one of the upcoming shifts. And then click on who's gonna come to that? Oh, Jackie's coming, okay. If you remember before, I was anonymous in there. But because I changed that setting in my contact information, that privacy setting, now people can see that I'm gonna be there. And again, that is completely up to you. You can do it either way you wanna do it. And then you asked about the emails. So this is where you're going to the subscriptions. This is where you're going to either subscribe or unsubscribe to the weekly reminder. So if you subscribe to the weekly reminder on Sundays, and I've tested this out, on Sundays, you will get an email that says, hey, remember, you've got ABC and XYZ coming up this week as volunteer opportunities. If you have nothing, you won't get an email. So, but otherwise it will send you a weekly schedule reminder of what's upcoming for the week. And so far for me, it came on Sundays. I haven't found a place to change the day. So I think Sundays is when it comes, when it gets sent out. And that's automatically generated by this system. So that's nothing, no buttons that we're pushing. It's just automatically telling people what the upcoming opportunities are. Is there any questions on all of this? Again, you can share as much or as little information as you want. There may be opportunity or situations where, like for instance, at Dam Challenge, if you could roll down, Erica, on the left. So here we have cell phone, the work phone, things like that. I could see in the text messaging, in the cell phone, I could see an application for this being, let's use it, for instance, as Dam Challenge. And we have thunder and lightning, and we need to pause the race. Normally, up until now, we've had no opportunity to get a hold of all of our volunteers. We just don't have a good way to say, hey, everybody, heads up, we're gonna put a pause on this for a half an hour, or even like we had to, unfortunately, we have to cancel this race. You know, we had people out on the bike route. We have, you know, we're trying to get a hold of volunteers. You know, Ben is out driving around trying to find all the bikes. It was really kind of a nightmare. So in that instance, we probably would ask all of our Dam Challenge volunteers to share with us their cell phone, because with one simple message through this volunteer portal, we can send a text message to every volunteer. So if there's something that we want to communicate with everybody at the event, we can, you know, we can be very specific where we're only going to use this for emergencies. You know, maybe there's a tornado warning or some crazy business. We're only going to use this for emergencies, and this is where we're going to access it. So we really see that as having some value, especially for safety. Okay, any questions about that? All right, so we can go skip that. There's nothing in that tab. So again, in my profile is where you kind of control everything that happens to you within this. So in that my profile tab is qualifications. Now, to you and me, qualifications means if I'm qualified to do something, then I can do it because I already know how to do it. Well, qualifications with this system, they've named it qualifications, and I can't change it that it's named qualifications. So we're gonna roll with it. So qualifications, and we've explained it here, qualifications just mean anything and everything that you might encounter on the KVR, you might get trained to do. You might not be already trained. You might just want to be trained to do this. Or you might just want to learn more about it, or you might just be curious about it. And that's okay, because we're going to use this volunteer system as really as a way to provide training, education, opportunities, you know, learning opportunities for people. Anything and everything that we do here, we want to share with you. So even if you're not qualified specifically for it, we want you to still participate in that activity because you could learn, you could become qualified, you could become probably someone that could teach it even, do a training. So if you roll down, we've just kind of made a list of basically kind of what happens around here. So the qualifications are a kind of a big, long laundry list of what makes the KVR tick. So you'll see that we've kind of sectioned it out. LM is land management, ED is education. You know, there's some, we want to know if you're a baker or a chef, the friends probably want to know that because they're probably going to hit you up to make cookies for the cookie walk. Or are you affiliated with the Ho-Chunk Nation? Are you a former KVR employee? You know, we're going to be able to send you out to say, you know, we don't have to describe every single thing to you if you're a former employee. You know, if you're a board member, we want to know that. If you're a former board member, we want to know that. The one thing that's a little bit important here is the KVR volunteer agreement. So each year, at the beginning of each year, we do ask that, or the first time you volunteer for the year, is that you have a current signed volunteer agreement on file. And this system is going to be able to help us remind you to do that because we even forget. And usually when we grab people is right before they volunteer, which is great, but it does kind of put, you know, it adds an extra 10, 15 minutes onto your volunteer time. When if we just did this at the beginning of each year, it's done, we don't need to do it again. So this is a really easy way for us to put that in front of you. If you click on the information tab there. So if you, on the information tab, we've just put a link to our website that links to that agreement. It's the volunteer agreement that the state provides us to use. So basically what we'd like is when people get ready to kind of fill this out and see what's going on, just at the first of the year, let's just try to get those volunteer agreements in, and then you're done. You don't have to worry about it, and they're on file, and we can just continue on with our life for the rest of the year. But this is just gonna help us remember and remind us to take care of those. All right, any questions on the qualifications? And it's a lot of reading, but I encourage you to get in there and look around. Any questions on that? No? All right, this one is exciting, the training. So in the past, our training consists of, yeah, come on out and go out with us and we'll give you some gloves and tell you to wear eye protection if you're gonna be in the brush and oh yeah, carry that over there and bring water. That was our training. Well, that's kind of just not good enough, and it's really not fair to our volunteers to just kind of throw you out there in the woods and say good luck. So what we've developed and what we're going to continue to develop are some training modules. So all of these right here, we've actually just gleaned from our website. We've literally copied and pasted all these topics, and instead of having to click in about 27 different places on our website, we've put them all in one place. And we're going to continue to add trainings. There may be videos that we add on physically showing you how to trim a tree, or physically showing you how to deberm a trail, or whatever those things are. But so this is pretty exciting. So why don't we click through, let's click through the history. So it's pretty simple. It's a lot of reading, but it's kind of fun. If you're at all interested in the KVR at all, there's going to be a lot of stuff, and we're going to continue to add more. So you just roll down through and you can read all about everything that's happened. It's kind of a timeline. This training is current management. And then there's little tests all the way down through. Don't be scared of the test. You can click through them and don't care what it is, if you get them right or if you don't get them right. It's not a test like you're going to get kicked out of class if you don't do it right. But it's just something a little bit challenging and fun. You know, did I actually read that right or whatever? So we're going to let Erica take the test just by clicking through. And we'll see how she did when she submits, if she guessed right. Oh, she didn't do very good. She got 25%. And let's say, okay, I'm not going to mess around. I don't want to do this anymore. you can go back to it, you can close it, you can completely get out of here, go all the way to the top. You go all the way up. Yep, and go back to my profile. You can completely exit without, it's not gonna scold you, you're not in trouble, you don't have to go to the principal's office. So it's just information, and I can't foresee any that will be required trainings, but maybe, you know, there might be something that, you know, I don't know what the specifications are with some of the things that we do as far as like chemicals, or, you know, if we have to be licensed, or, you know, that would be on definitely Ben's expertise. But, you know, I could see maybe if there was some certain things along the way we might have to have specific trainings for, then we would probably make sure that those are required. But for the most part, our trainings are just gonna be informational and just a way for you to get comfortable and learn more, really just learn more about the KVR and how and why and what we do here. So the training module is pretty exciting for us, just to be able to kind of share knowledge with people. It's in a way that we can kind of pare it right down to specifically what we're doing. So are there any questions about the training module? All right, so the next thing is badges. We talked about the badges a little bit in the beginning. But badges are just kind of a fun way to see your progress or see what you've done, or, you know, and how I got these badges is that I said, hey, I'm on the Education and Tourism Committee, so I get a badge for that because I'm on that committee. I am certified in wildland fire, so I clicked that in the qualifications. I marked that I was certified in that, so I get that badge. And again, you're the only one that sees your badges, so it's like a little personal celebration, but everybody likes to see those. I mean, I would love it if I was, you know, earned a 100-hour badge of volunteering. I mean, that's a milestone. That's really huge, and we appreciate that. And it is something that, you know, is fun to know, fun to see. So you can do a lot of other things. You can change your password. The organizations tab is one. Right now, I think we are the only people in the area that are using this Better Impact. But I could foresee like Friends of Wildcat. In fact, they've asked about it a little bit, like, hey, what are you using? We might be interested. So in that situation, you know, if they decide to do something and use this cloud-based software, then maybe you do join the Friends of Wildcat, and you also are a volunteer at the reserve. So this is where you would actually have both. You can link those two organizations in one profile, in your own profile, and you can tab back and forth from either one, and really keep track of all of your volunteering opportunities. So that's pretty cool. Right now, we're the only ones, but like I said, I could foresee other groups kind of latching onto this and using it if it works well. All right, so up to my profile again. You can set goals for yourself. Let's say that you want to, you know, let's say that you are in the Master Naturalist program, and one of the things required for you is that you have to volunteer, you know, I don't know, 40 hours in 3 months or something. You can set those dates with your goals there, and it will help you reach those goals. It'll help remind you to say, hey, or congrats, you volunteered 2 hours towards your goal or whatever. So it's really kind of it's almost like your own private little cheerleader. So we're gonna go down to interests. So when we click into interests, this is a little bit similar to the qualifications, but what this does is this helps us kind of learn who you are, how we can better help you, how we can help you get the most out of your volunteer experience, what you're interested in. This is also where you would go through and you would click these. So if you click select all, it'll deselect them. There we go. So let's just say that I want to go ahead and click like 4 of them. These are the things that I want to be involved in. So when Dam Challenge time rolls around, I don't have damn challenge clicked, so I am not going to get that barrage of damn challenge volunteer emails, because we know there's gonna be a lot. But I am gonna get all of the gardening emails. If I'm just interested in gardening, that's all I really wanna be bothered with, then I can just click that. If I'm really only interested in, forest management, maybe that's the only one I wanna click. If I'm just interested in cross-country skiing or anything in the wintertime, maybe I'm only here in the wintertime, I'm just gonna click those. So you really have the opportunity to completely manage your experience and what you see and what you don't see. Personally, I wanna see them all and then I'll sort through them later, but maybe I don't. Maybe you really only are interested in education here on the reserve, and you can kind of sort those out and click those. So the I button right next to it is, again, just some information. And we'll be kind of honing these a little bit and really kind of cleaning them up and adding a little bit more information as we go along. This is kind of an ever evolving and growing program that we're going to use. So it'll be changing kind of almost all the time, because we'll be adding opportunities. We'll be adding things, somebody will say, hey, you should add this. And we'll say, yeah, you're right, we should. We want to get better, so we're going to do that. So that's kind of just the way that you can kind of lay that roadmap for your own volunteering experience with us. Are there any questions on that? No? All right. Availability. So this is, let's say that you want to volunteer, but you don't want to be bothered with every single volunteer opportunity, because you really are only available Monday mornings and in the evening on Mondays. That's it. That's the only time that you can volunteer. So you would just click those. You would click mornings and nights on Monday and save it. And you will only get volunteer opportunities that come to you in your notifications that include Monday mornings and Monday nights. So if we have an event on Saturday, you're not going to get a notification for that one. You can also click it all so that you get all of them. You can highlight all of them. It's pretty easy. Just go down through and click them all that you want to get all of it. And you will. Then you'll have every opportunity that we offer. All right. Any questions on that? And again, you can do all of this or you can do none of this. If all you use this for is to go on and look at the opportunities and never even sign up, and you just show up to do it or give us a call, you can totally do that too. So another really neat aspect of this is that it allows us to do a time clock, excuse me, where at an event, we may put this QR code out and you can literally walk in with the app on your phone. I've put the app for this on my phone. It's pretty cool. You can walk in, open your app, scan the QR code, and it clocks you in, and it just automatically records your hours. You can forget about it. And because we've kind of preset how much time is going to be there, if you leave early, you probably want to log out. But if you don't, it will just automatically log your hours of the time that the event was and what time you arrived. So it kind of takes care of things for you if you want. Again, you don't have to do any of this, or you can. So it's totally up to each individual on how much you want to use this. All right. And so in files is where you can, again, nothing to display here because we don't have anything set up there, but this is where you could add pictures, like, you've seen something out there, maybe you went to a canoe landing and you looked around and there was just a huge pile of garbage. You're like, you know what, I've got to take a picture of this and send it in. You would send that file there. Maybe you have maybe you have a list of suggestions that you want to send us, like, hey, I think you should do this, this, and this for your volunteers. Put it in you don't want to put it in email, you just have it already written out in maybe a Word document. You can attach that file right here and send it to us. And that will get added here as soon as we have something to display. But it's also where you could attach your volunteer agreement and send it to us also, or you can just attach it to an email, either one. Okay, the last one, merge profile, that one is if you are already on, if you want to merge two profiles together, I highly doubt anybody's going to do that. But if that is a situation where you're already with another organization or you already have another profile and you want to merge those two, this is where that would happen. It might happen, it might not. Right now, I highly doubt it. So, okay, that's kind of it. Is there any questions? I know it's a lot of information. But if you just start with, if you're interested in using this, and again, you do not have to, you certainly do not have to, but it is available to people to use. So again, to start out, always just kind of train yourself to go to our website. Access it from our website is going to be your best bet. And this is where all of our volunteer opportunities will get posted. So we're not going to put those opportunities, we'll probably share, you know, hey, we've got some volunteer opportunities coming up. We're going to help people, kind of lead people along a little bit, but we're moving to where this is where they're going to be. And this is how we'll communicate. So kind of gone are those days when we're going to send a mass email to, 60 people asking for cookies. So we're going to try to transition to something like this where we can kind of help each other. All right, is there any questions on this? Is there any questions on volunteering in general?
No, this answered it all.
Okay, we love it. We love that. And again, we want you to reach out. So if you, along the way, if you're having trouble getting logged in, if you're concerned about privacy settings, if you're concerned about, your profile is showing up in those work days and you just don't want that and you can't figure out how to get that off of there, please call us. Erica and I will be able to walk you through every single part of it. A lot of that stuff we can help on the backside, but we can't control your profile on the backside. So, but we can walk you through how to change it. All of that information is yours. That's private information. So, yeah, we're excited to use this. We're excited to we're excited to appreciate our volunteers better, and to be able to provide you. The KVR is awesome, and things that happen here are awesome, and we're always doing really awesome things. And then we feel like we're kind of dropping the ball when it comes to taking care of our volunteers, or even communicating with them as effectively as we can. And people are so gracious and support us, even though we're trying to clunk through, a Google document that maybe everybody can't open, and you got to ask permission. And there's just a lot of kind of roadblocks that keep us from really doing a good job for our volunteers. So we're really hoping that this is kind of a better way through for everyone to get out of it what we hope you do. So, all right, well, if there are no other questions, I think that's what we have. And get in there if you're comfortable, get in there, sign up, poke around. You can't screw it up. If something happens and you think, oh my gosh, I did this wrong, just call us, we'll help you through it. There's even a spot in there where you can resign from your volunteer opportunity. So you say, you know what, this isn't for me, it's too much, I'm out. You can click the button and resign, and you never have to think about it again. So if you're interested in volunteering, but you don't want to do this, we would still probably want to log your anonymous hours. We are happy to do that for you. So, say, hey, I'm not interested in participating in this software, but I'm here for 4 hours. So we're going to go ahead and log those anonymous hours for you. So you can use this as much or as little as you want, but we're hoping that this is going to keep information in front of people to really better serve you. Awesome.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Great. Well, we hope you poke around in there and see what it looks like. Like I said, we'll be adding more opportunities all the time. Ben was just talking today about, he's working on honeysuckle right now for the invasives, but he was kind of rolled his eyes and said, yep, here we go again with garlic mustard. So we'll be adding that pretty soon, and there'll be plenty of hours to be had doing that. But you know what? Hey, what could be, it's bad that we have to deal with garlic mustard, but it gets us outside, fresh air in the woods. It's beautiful, so. All right, well, thank you very much. If there's no more questions, we'll sign off for the night. Thanks for being.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.